before we dive into the show, I just needed to say this to you guys. So, like I mentioned, I had a tough week, right? But one of the things that made this week incredible, and I never talk about things like this outside of like music on the show, but I needed to talk about this because it just means a lot. Now, I don't watch reality shows, like because it I just don't watch it from like Big Brother and things like I don't watch reality shows of any kind. They just don't appeal to me. But there is one that I've been watching for 3 seasons now. And I'm telling you, after this I watched the season 3. I kind of had to sit down and be like, why do I like this show? And some of you are wondering, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Young, Famous, and African. Is this show on Netflix that has been on for about, what, 2 years now? Or if not more? And I just finished watching the season 3 this week. And I have to tell you, this is not even about the show itself. It's not about the things in the show, the drama. And there's a lot of that in the show. And the things that actually make me dislike watching reality shows are the things I actually enjoy about the show for some reason. And if you haven't caught up with it, you should. Now, one of the things that amazes me about the show and why I just really, really do like it, because I had to sit down after I was done with the season 3 and be like, why am I watching this? Why am I so mentally invested? What is it about this show? You don't like reality TV shows. Why this one? This is not the first African or Nigerian reality TV show out there. Why this one? And it got me thinking that, when we talk about the continent, Africa, and we talk about Nigeria as well, the countries within it, most times all we ever see, even as Africans, right? All we ever see are the things that is wrong, right? And every time I go on social media, I'm not currently on the continent, but every time I go on social media to find out like what's happening in Nigeria, I'm on the news, like trying to find out as well on the news. It's always something so green, so dark, how things are difficult. And we don't get to see our brilliance, I think, as much as we should. We don't get to experience or see it, I would say. And I think that's what this show gives me. The show is set in South Africa, and the show is so glamorous. I mean, sometimes I feel like it's over the top with how glamorous it is. Like the cars, the fancy cars, and all of that, it's fine. But the way the guys dress, shout out to everyone in there, from Nadia, South Africa, to Swanky, Nigeria, to Annie, who's entrepreneur, two-faced wife as well, incredible mother. I mean, incredible people on the show. To Zari, and I could go on mentioning all these people, and to Fantana, to Platinum Diamonds, to Andele, who wasn't there this year, to Kelly, to DJ Naked. I mean, I look at all these people, and even though some of them are not Nigerians, I look at them and there's this sense of pride when I look at them. And this show, I kind of fits in that craving where or satisfies that craving where we need to see a part of Africa that is just glamorous. And I think I even misspoke when I said it was set in South Africa. It was set in several countries. I think South Africa, Namibia as well, maybe Kenya, I think. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 countries that this season at least was set in. There was just this sense of pride watching this movie, just seeing another side of the continent that is just extraordinarily glamorous, right? There was this party that they had that Swanky, I beg your pardon, threw for his friends in the show, and I was looking at all the decorations, and if you didn't tell someone, they will look at that, and that could have been set in any country in the world. You probably look at that and be like, oh, that's France, or that's the UK, or that's America, or that's Sweden. Like, so glamorous, so beautiful, like everything looks perfect. And I just got thinking that we probably need to see this more. Like, every country has got their shitty parts. I mean, every country, no country is 100% perfect, has everything all sorted out, right? Every country has got poor people there, people who are struggling, the difficult parts of every country has got that, right? No, but no place is just 100% utopia, right? But it always feels like African countries are the only places where you don't get to see the part that is actually ridiculously glamorous and cool and fine. And I'm watching that series and I'm like, even as an African, I'm like, I need to go to South Africa. As an African, I'm like, I need to go to South Africa. And I think for many more Africans who have the resources to do so, we need to touch down on so many more African countries than we do. Most people have touched on different countries in Europe and in South America and in Asia more than they've touched the countries in Africa. And I know there are problems there, but if you have the resources to do so, I think we should. More of us should actually move within these African countries, like more than we already do. I think it was Kenya that put out a policy a while ago that says everyone can come in, right? As long as you have an African passport. I think it was Kenya that said that. And that needs to be what we're doing more of. Like I think it's needed that we need to see the parts of Africa that is actually beautiful and great as well. The continent's too big for it to just all be dark doom and gloom, right? I think seeing these glamorous things, I'm this might be me, overreaching here, but I'm thinking that it can be, let me say, a way to motivate us, younger people, to want to do better. Because I cannot imagine seeing everything I've seen in South Africa and I'm in a place of leadership and all of that. And I wouldn't want to replicate that in my country, right? It just got me thinking a lot. But this series, more than just all the drama and everything in it, it has me just beaming with pride. Like there's so much like joy and love for everyone in the series, not just because of any of the drama. Like everything I'm saying, it goes way beyond anything that happened in the show. This is me proud of everyone because they're so authentically African. There's nobody in the show that is trying to farms anywhere else than being ridiculously African. I was just looking at all of them looking so beautiful, looking so well dressed, looking, they're all successful in their own rights, own businesses, actresses, they're singers. Like I'm looking at all of them and I'm like, there are billions of us like this, there is the potential to have a whole continent like that, right? I was just so, so proud of the work. Let me also give a shout out to the work done by the folks in the background as well. Whoever, envisioned this, whatever the goal was, right? And I want to believe that the goal of the people in the team on the background, it's to, show a different side of the continent, right? Show a different side of the people on the continent, right? And I have to say, even as an African myself, mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. There is way more to us than everything that goes on international media, right? And I have spoken about things like this on the show several times, right? Oh my goodness, this is so perfect. I've spoken about things like this several times where it is how important it is for us to be telling our own stories, for us to be at the forefront of our own stories, right? I have always said this. It is very important, and I probably am going to touch on it again, but you know where I'm going. Because it's like everything just keeps coming back to this. We have to be the one telling our own stories. Anything outside of that, you're going to be able to see through the fake facade or wherever it is, right? We have to be the one to tell our own stories. Nobody's going to tell it as authentic as we are going to do it. And I think this show is doing an incredible job. Everyone there is doing it. And that takes me even to I mean, it's award show season. The Grammys is next week. A lot of people are going to be flocking to, are going to be craving